Good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning, and I'm coming to you with a special new project that I'm starting. Now, this is going to be a secret until I'm finished with it, but I am going to be doing Felici Fridays, and I got that inspiration from Lisa at Knit All the Yarn. She's also 72 Stitches on Instagram. And what she started, because I love Felici, I have a ridiculous amount. Here, I'm going to move you, so be aware. Yeah, I have 3 bins completely full, and then another bin that's partial. Okay, so it's kind of out of hand. So what I did is I found the Spin the Wheel app from my phone. So this is what it looks like. And I've put all of my Felici colors in there. So what I'm going to do on Fridays is work strictly on whatever Felici I have picked. So for this week, we're starting now. We're going to pick the Felici. So we're going to do Double Dog Dare first. So I'm going to stop this so that I can go over and find the yarn and show it to you. So here is Double Dog Dare. So we're going to make our slip knot. I'm going to get to the color change and make our slip knot right in the color change, so that both of our socks will be starting at basically the same exact place. So we put our slip knot on our needle, and I'm going to peek around. So hopefully I keep this in frame. The way that I do my cast on is a little bit different than most people. This is a cast on that was created by Jenny of Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, and it was I believe changed by Tilly Buddy. So Tilly Buddy had a tutorial, and I don't know if it's still there, because I mean I saw this tutorial like 10-15 years ago. And one thing I will tell you is it is a great tutorial. It really is. And I also have a tutorial that I have done separately. I did it years and years and years ago showing this. This is the only bind on, the only cast on that I usually use. Very seldom do I use something else because I like this one so much. It is crazy stretchy. So let me do this and look at it and then tell you about it. So the first thing we're going to do, we do our slip knot, we put it on the needle, then we put our needle, loop it over from the back to the front, go into this loop from the back, pull the working yarn through the loop and tighten it up. And then you're going to put this loop on your needle and draw it up, pull it over, and there you are. So let's do that like a few more times. Now, one thing I find is helpful is to hold this out of the way. So we're going to loop it from the back, go from the back of the loop, pull it through and over and over. So let's do this one more time. Loop it over from the back, pull the loop from the back, pull the working yarn through the loop, and put it on the needle. Can't see, there you go. Pull that not too tight, just, you know, snug. And then when you pull it, when you bring it over, you can see that they're all in a line and they're nice and neat. And I know that you wouldn't think that this was loose, that it was stretchy, but once I do a few more of these, I would go get a sock that I made using this method and show you just how stretchy it is. And like I have said in the past, I have very voluptuous calves, so I like a nice stretchy cast on. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through this one more time. And of course, you have the ability to rewind if you need to. Okay, so one more time, we're going to loop from the back, leave a loop at the bottom, go from the back to the front with the loop, pull through from the working yarn, put that loop on your needle, pull it up, and flip it over to the front. Okay, so let me see if I can find a pair of socks with this. Okay, so let me show you my Mardi Gras socks as an example. See, this is the Knit 2 Purl 2 ribbing. Look how wide I can stretch that. So it is a very stretchy cast on. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and cast on the rest of the stitches. I need, as I've said before, I'm a very loose knitter, and so my magic number is 60. So once I get 60 stitches cast on, I'll be back and show you what to do after that. All right, I have 58 stitches on my needle. I need 2 more. So I'm going to go over that cast on 2 more times with you. Now, as you could see, I was getting a very big loop, and that makes it a little bit hard to get onto the needle. So let me look at this in real time. I'm going to try and make a smaller loop. Okay, that's a little bit better. You just put it on your needle, pull it up, flip it over. One more time. I'm going to make a little small loop here. Use the working yarn, pull it up, flip it over, and that's 60 stitches. Now, normally when you knit socks, a lot of people at this point would divide their stitches in half and they would join in the round. I don't do that. The reason why is I like to make sure that my stitches are all, that they don't get flipped. So I make sure of that by knitting back at this point. So I will be doing the Knit 2 Purl 2. There we go. So I am going to knit 2, purl 2, okay, all right, then knit 2 again. Now I do another little weird trick. These are things that I do. Oh, I got that right in front of the lens. Sorry about that. Let me move it. Things that I do that make sense to me. You do whatever makes sense to you. But in this case, I want to be able to tell how many rows I have knitted. So on my first row, I put a light bulb marker so that I know that's my first row, and when I go back to count later, it will be easier to count because I'll know that's my first row. Okay, so I'm going to do the knit 2, purl 2 to 30 stitches, which is half. Okay, so this is going to be a purl 2. So I will do this and then I'll speed it up because nobody wants to watch paint dry. Okay. The first row also is going to be a little bit tighter. So this is a good opportunity for you to kind of loosen those stitches up a little bit. And it helps to get your needle in there. Just trying to make sure I stay in frame here. Now, because I have 60 stitches and I'm doing a knit 2, purl 2, I will have to start my second needle on a purl rather than a knit like you normally do. And it's just something I do. That's what I'm used to doing. So I just count the first 30, which I'm not even close. So let's just keep going. At this point, what I'm going to do, because we're doing this as magical loop, is kind of spread these out a little bit, and then I'm going to pull this needle like this, and then we start on the second side. So, all right, again, I'm going to speed this up because it's boring. I don't mind watching myself knit, but to sit and watch somebody else knit, it's like, oh yeah, this is fun. Okay. If you really want to challenge yourself, try knitting around a camera. It's so much fun. Okay. All right, here's what I'm going to do because this is not going well. I am going to stop here and finish knitting this row and I'll come back. Okay, I have finished the first row. And like I said, we stopped in the middle and switched so that we could do a magic loop. Our working yarn is coming from here, and this is when we're going to join. So we make sure that our what we've knitted already is at the bottom. It's not twisted, so we're good to go. So we push our needle back and we will start on row 2. And there is no special way to add, to circle the wagons, basically. There's no certain way to do that. You just start knitting. And to join is what I meant, sorry. Couldn't come up with my words sometimes. They leave me, so I have to figure it out. All right, so sorry. So here's our working yarn back here, and we're going to just start knitting our second row. Let's do just a first couple of stitches.
Now, what you will find after a while, and it'll be more obvious later, and I'll show it to you then, but you will find that there's like a little divot from where the starting point is to the other part. And I'll show you that. And basically, it's not a big deal. It's just when you are doing your weaving in your ends, you can fix that. All right, so here's our marker showing us that that was row 1. Okay, so then when we want to see where we are, we can just go to row, we go 1, 2. Okay, so I am going to take this and knit on it a while, and I'll come back. Now, normally my row count for my cuff is 15. We are going to be using our colors in the Felice to show us where to stop or where to change from cuff to regular stitch. So it may be not exactly 15. It may be 16. It may be 14. We'll have to see. Okay. So, but that's why we have these markers here. Now, what I do is I put a marker every 5 rows. So this is 1, we'll count 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th row, I'll put another marker. Okay. I don't know why, that's just how I do it, and that works for me. So, but like I said, I normally do 15, so I will put a stitch marker every 5 rows. And when I have the first stitch marker and then 3 more, I know that my cuff is done. Okay. All right. I will be back probably once I'm getting close to where my cuff is going to end and my normal knitting is going to begin. Okay. Bye. All right. So I have got 14 rows of my cuff, and I'm working on the 15th row, and I see that I'm about to come up to a color change. Now this last whole row, the color change has been kind of muddy, but what we're going to do, we're going to let that go ahead, and we're going to start our leg of the sock at this color change, the yellow. And it doesn't have to be on the end. You just, wherever the new color comes in, let's do these last 2 as a purl, and then you just start knitting from that point. You just start knitting. So I will come back once I have 10 rows. And then you can see our little light bulb marker. It's, you know, it's not that big a deal, but that's what I do is I do a light bulb marker for every 10 rows. Again, this leg of this is going to be about 30 rows. So what I will do is I will change color. Oh, I didn't bring it with me. I found a yellow that I could use as the heels and toes. So once I get to a point where I'm going to put the heel in, I will come back. Hello, I'm finally back to this. And the one thing I want to show you here with the color is that I have started my next color here, but this is the perfect place for me to make my heel. So what I'm going to do is leave this little bit of color here and then start the heel on this side. Then what happens is once I come back around and pick up stitches, then this color just goes like it normally would, and you don't wind up with color back here on your heel. Now, I have had times where I have had a little bit of the color on the heel, and that's when there's like a special stitch involved or something like that, and that just kind of can't be helped. Oh man, don't tell me I'm not. Oh, I am recording. Okay. Whew. All right. So the things we need to make our heel. Now, I always make a heel flap and gusset heel, and that is because that is what feels best on my foot. I have had times where I have made a short row heel or something like that, and it just feels so tight on top of my foot. And when I started doing heel flap and gusset, it was like, this is amazing. I love it. So that's what I do now. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do to start our heel, here's our new yarn that we're going to use just for the heel and the toe later. But we have our yarn, and we're going to knit the first 2 stitches. And I just dropped my yarn. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong glasses. So when I break this video, I'm going to go get my glasses that I need to be wearing. Now, on the first row is the only time that you're going to knit those first 2 stitches. The reason why is on the continuing rows, what you're going to do is slip that first stitch. Okay? So knit the first stitch, and that's just to kind of give you an anchor. And usually what I do is I kind of pull this up a little bit, and then, let's see. Oh, actually, I'm better without glasses. Woohoo. All right, so then I just kind of wrap that stitch a little bit to give it a little bit of stability, and so that doesn't draw up quite so much. So I will wrap it around my working yarn, okay? Alrighty, so then the next stitch we're going to slip, and we're going to knit the next stitch. So slip, knit all the way across. And what we're going to do is on one of these slip stitches, we're going to grab a stitch marker. Oh, let's not use yellow, not on this yarn, because our color is yellow. So let's use this green one. And we're going to mark our stitch as being slipped. This is our first row. So just like with the cuff, I mark the first row, and then from then on, I count from that, okay? So let me get you through this first row, first and second row, and then I'll probably go away for a little while and work on this heel and get it done, and then we can come back and discuss. Okay, so this is just the flap part. You do need to do, after the flap part, you're going to do a heel turn. All right, so slip and knit, and slip and knit, and the slip is as if to purl. So knit, slip, knit. I'm going to stop that because it's annoying even me. Annoying myself. Okay, your last stitch should be a knit stitch. Then you're going to turn your work, and your yarn is in front, but you slip the first stitch as if to purl, and then purl across. So, and what I do a lot with this is I'll count my stitches as I go to make sure that there's nothing funny going on. And I have caught mistakes by doing that. I'm just, I don't know, I like to count or something, I don't know, but I tend to count every now and again. And we're back to the beginning. So that is 1 round. And you have your stitch here showing this is 1. Okay, so for 2, we're going to slip that first stitch as if to purl, knit the next stitch, slip, knit, slip, knit. Okay, so here where we have our marker, this is our first repeat, and then our second repeat is showing up here, but we won't count that till we get through with the purl side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and get 5 rows done of this, and I will come back when I have done that. Okay, I have now finished 5 heel flap rows, and I will show you. A row counts as, it's basically 2 half rows. So you go slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, and then on the way back you slip and then purl the rest of the stitches. So here's our first row. Wish I could see this. Okay, that's better. All right, so there's our first row, and then our second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. So I'm going to put a stitch marker there. You don't have to put a stitch marker. You can just count to 15. This is just like a routine thing for me, and I am nothing if not obsessive about my routines. So that's for 5. I do 15 rows on my heel flap. Also, I didn't mention that my contrast color is Felici Brittle. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to knit 10 more rows till I get to the 15th, and then at that time we will discuss the heel turn. I'm back, and I have done my 15 rows. So as you can see, I put a marker every 5 rows, which is actually 30 rows because it is 1 row of knit, slip, and then the row back is slip and purl across. So we are done with that part of the heel flap. Now, this is where I get in trouble a lot, because I'll be like, oh, I'm finished, and I'll cut my yarn. And then I remember, oh yeah, I have to do a heel turn. So today we're going to work on the heel turn. Now, I have my pad of paper and my pen here, and yes, I am left-handed. And we're going to need to do just a little bit of math. Now, in this case, I have 30 stitches across. And I saw this information a long, long time ago, which is where most of my information comes from. And they said the way to make a perfect heel turn is to take the number of stitches that you have, divide it by 2, so that's 15. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so 15, and then add 2. Okay, so the number that we're going for is 17. Now, if you have 32 stitches, I'm going to write it over here so it looks better. You are going to take 32 divided by 2 is 16 plus 2 equals 18. Okay? So, what we do is, to start our heel turn, is, I get my yarn right, you slip the first stitch. This is the only time you'll slip the first stitch. Okay? Well, I don't know. Let me think about that. slip the first stitch and then knit. We want to knit to 17. So we've slipped the first one, so we're going to knit 16. Okay. I'm looking around the camera to do this. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's count those again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. All right, so once you get those 17 stitches knitted, you are going to decrease. So you're going to do a slip, slip, knit on this side. So knit that, then you knit one more stitch and then turn. Okay? So this first stitch, the last one that you knitted, you're going to slip. And this is so later on you can get things to all get back together, and so there's no gaps in your heel turn. All right, so you slip that one, then you're going to purl 5. The reason why it's 5 is, remember, you went to the center and you added 2, and then you did a decrease, so that counts as a stitch. So you are purling your decrease, the 2 extra that you added, and then 2 more. So that you've worked the same amount of stitches on each side of the middle. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, at this point you need to decrease on this side, so you're going to purl 2 together. If I can grab that stitch. Okay, and then you purl 1. And the reason why I said, oh wait, no, you might have to slip the first on the other rows. You have to slip the first on every row. I'm not that smart sometimes. All right, so we're going to slip this one. Then we're going to knit across till we get to the gap. And you'll be able to tell the gap. See, it's really showing up there. But, you know, if you want to put a marker there until you kind of get the hang of things, that's fine. All right, so here's our gap. What we're going to do to close that gap is we're going to slip, slip, knit again. Okay, so we slip, slip, knit, and knit 1. All right, so, and what I do every now and again, when you finish the purl round, you should have the same number of stitches left over on each time. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches left. Slip again, purl, purl. I won't keep saying that because it's annoying. All right, so we have another gap coming up here. What we're going to do is we're going to take this stitch that we worked on the last round, purl it together with that next stitch coming, and then purl 1 more. And then we're going to count these stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8. So we're good. All right. Now, I don't know if you want me to talk you through the rest of this, but sorry. I've kind of decided to do that. So if you want to fast forward through this part, feel free. All right, so we're back here. We're going on our knit side again. We're going to slip 1, knit to the gap, did a slip slip purl there. That didn't, wait a minute, slip slip knit, that didn't look right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Whew. So slip slip knit, knit 1, and turn. And we have 6 stitches left. Now when you do the 30 stitch heel turn, your stitches wind up coming out exactly even. With the 32 stitch heel turn, they do not. So once we get close to the end, I will show you what I do with that. And again, none of this is like, you know, sock law or sock police or anything else. Do what works for you. This is what works for me, and that is what I'm showing you. Okay? Okay. Because if there was a sock police, ooh, there's several times I would have been in trouble. Okay, I may speed some of this up because, you know, I don't like boring my people. So, wait a minute, what happened here? 2, 4, wait a minute. 2, 4, 6, 7. See, I've messed up already. Oh, no, I didn't. See, I just thought I did. There's my purl 2 together. Then you purl the next one, and that gives you 6. Whew, okay. Alrighty. Slip this one, knit to the gap, we're going to slip, slip, knit. Then we're going to knit 1, and that gives us 4 stitches, although that one looks kind of funky. I don't know what happened there. May have to fix that when I get there. Alrighty. So slip, purl to the gap, four, almost there, slip, knit, slip, slip, knit, one thing about Felicia, unfortunately sometimes it does get a little bit splitty, but the colors are so pretty you just can't help but love it. So it's a pain, but it's kind of worth it. All right, so we're going to slip, slip, knit, and knit. So we turn it around. We slip as if to purl. And then we purl to the break. Now, one thing I want you to notice is because we have slipped all of our first stitches, we have really nice V's here to pick up when we start picking up stitches. Okay, purl 2 together and purl. Okay, last 2 rounds. All right, so as usual, we slip as if to purl. We're going to knit, knit, knit. So, no, not there. Here. Okay, we have knit all the way over to our gap, and it's right here. Now, when you are doing a 32 stitch, you will wind up that you will have, we're going to pretend like this stitch doesn't exist, because you will not have enough stitches to knit that last stitch. So all you're going to do is do the same thing that you've been doing, and I already turned this because I have done this several times. Oh, no, let's try it again. All right, so we're going to slip, slip, knit. All right, now if you were doing the 32 stitch, you would not have this stitch here. But since I'm doing the 30 stitch, I have that stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and knit that and turn it. Then going back, it's going to be the same thing. If you were doing 32, at the end of the row, you would have at the end of the row, you would have one stitch with the gap. Something didn't go right there. Let's just fix that, shall we? Okay. I have made a lot of boo-boos in this section, but I'm going to leave some of them in because boo-boos happen. And don't stress about it. There's nothing that you can do that cannot be fixed. And for a long time, when I made a boo-boo, instead of trying to fix it, I would just rip out that whole section and redo it. And that's kind of a pain. All right, again, if you were doing a 32, this last stitch wouldn't exist. And what you would do is you would purl these two together, and that would be that. But since it does exist on the 30 stitch, we're going to just go ahead and purl it. And we're done with our heel turn. Let's see how nice that is. Okay, so where are my scissors? Oh, I just had them. Oh, I bet they're under here. Yeah, they are. All right, so we're done with our heel turn. What we're going to do now is pick up stitches. I know everybody hates picking up stitches, but you know, it's a necessary evil. Now, I have these little markers, and these markers I made myself. Just, you know, got some letters at Michael's and the jump rings and put them together myself. because I have a terrible time remembering when I'm supposed to decrease and when I'm not supposed to decrease. So I put these markers in here, and you will see those in just a little bit. All right, we have to do math again. Sorry. All right. For some reason, I believe that doing the 32, you will wind up with 18 stitches across here. And doing the 30, you wind up with 18 stitches across here, which is weird. I don't know why, but you do. Okay. So we started out with 30 stitches. Now, in order to get that half of the sock again, we need to get back to 30 stitches. So we have 30 stitches, and then here is 18. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So we have 18 stitches. So that means we need to make up 12 stitches. All right, well, that will come in just a little bit. With 32 stitches, it's 18. So you need to make up 14 stitches, okay? So this is one of my quirky little things that I do, and I saw this somewhere one time, and I don't remember where, and I'm sorry if this is your idea. Please let me know. I'll be happy to give you credit for it because I have used it for years, and it is amazing. Okay, so right here is a big gap, and if you don't pick up a stitch there, you're going to have a big hole on the side of your sock. So see this little, all right, so, and these little jewels I made myself because when you are decreasing stitches, you don't do it on every row, you do every other row. So I made this to remind me of which row I'm on. Am I knitting straight across or am I decreasing on this row? So, okay. All right, let's pick up that first stitch. So the first stitch, see this bar right here? Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so the bar right there, you go into the stitch that bar is coming out of. So here's the stitch, and you go from left to right. Well, I go from left to right. I keep saying you, which you may not want to use these instructions for socks, and that's okay. All right, so I pick up both of these legs. I twist it around, and I draw my yarn that we were working along the front and we dropped, so that now we're going to pick that yarn back up, and we're going to start with that. All right, that cord is in the way, but what you going to do? All right, so we've picked up that stitch to help us not have a hole. And then this next stitch is really loose because this is where we started our heel flap. And so we look over here to our V's along the edge. This is going to be, let's see, I think that's going to be the first one. Sometimes you got to fudge a little bit. It's not a precise science. All right, so I have picked up that stitch. Now you notice I picked it up from left to right. That's because we're going to twist it and knit it. The reason why I do that is that twist really helps with cutting down on having holes along that edge. Okay? All right, so we're going to pick up this one. Now, I forgot to put my little marker in there, didn't I? So let's move that back. I'm going to put my marker here. And I'm looking around my camera. I'm cheating. Okay, so I'm going to move that back because we've already picked that up. So that's 2 out of 16. Woohoo! Only 14 more to go. So here's the next one. Pick it up from the back, twist it around, and knit it. And unfortunately my cable and my yarn are about the same color, so I'm having a little trouble distinguishing between them. Oh, this yellow is giving me fits. All right, so 3, okay, so I have picked up 10 stitches. I've placed my marker to show me that these are the 10 stitches that I need to decrease down. Then I'm going to find my next V, and my yellow yarn is giving me a little bit of difficulty today. So there's our next V. I picked it up from the back. I'm going to twist it and knit it because we are picking up our last 6 stitches on this side. Okay. Yay, I got it. All right. Then let's pick up that next one there. Twist it. Knit it. Okay. Twist and knit. It's not usually this difficult. It's just that I have a camera in between me and my sock. So, okay, so that's 3. We need 3 more. One. And 2 and 3. Now it looks like you need to pick up another one, but it'll be fine. You just pick up the number that you need, as long as it's not like a gigantic gap. And you can tell this is a little bit loose because that's where the end of the yellow happened. So now we've got those 6. We're going to knit 18. So 1, 2, you can go to sleep now. I'll catch you at the end. Reached the other side. Now we're going to pick up first our 6 stitches, and we're going to start right there. Now I will confess to you that there have been times, you know what, I need to probably pay attention and not talk. But there have been times when I've had to fudge. And fudging is okay. I give you permission to fudge, to make your numbers work. This is number 4. But some people don't do a slip stitch and they have a certain place in their knitted rows that they pick stuff up. I don't do that. I like to have my V's to pick up. Okay, see, I started talking and I don't know where I am now. So we're going to count this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. I need to pick up 2 more to get us to our 30. All right. So here's 1 and 2. Okay, we're going to place our marker, and then we have to pick up 10 more stitches. Well, actually we need to pick up 9, and then we're going to pick up that one in the corner so we don't have a hole. So let's put our marker here. We're going to pick up 10 more. So you get the drift. I'm going to pick up the 9, and then I'll come back when I get to the corner. Okay, I have my 9 stitches. I need to picked up 9 from the marker. I need to pick up 1 more here in this corner. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find this top bar that goes across, and we're going to do from left to right, pick up a stitch there, and pick up a stitch here, twist it around. I'm using my tongue on this one because it's giving me trouble. And you knit it. Oh, you know what we forgot to do? Well, what I forgot to do is I forgot to put my marker, because after those 9 stitches, you're going to put your marker to remind you to decrease. All right, and then you knit that stitch, and there you go. Okay. All right. So now we're going to knit across the front. Now I'm going to do 2 rows, and then we will come back. I'll explain. So I'm going to do 2 rows. The part where I'm just knitting, I'm going to zoom through. Okay. So I'm going to knit along here, so I'm going to be quiet so I can put this on Zoom. Our first decrease round. And the first thing we do, we knit the first stitch. Then we change our marker. This says decrease, so that's to remind us that those next stitches need to be decreased. So next time when we come around, we're just going to knit straight. So we want the knit to be on our needle. So we do a slip, slip, knit, and we have decreased 1. So let's go to the end of this round, slip our markers because we don't want to lose sight of the number of stitches that we need to get back to. Now, I would be lying to you if I told you this always went perfectly and I always remembered to change my marker for decrease and knit straight. No, that's not true. Nobody's perfect, and so just remember everything can be fixed. One thing I want to tell you, if you are counting every 10 rows, remember your counting for your foot starts here at the end of your heel turn. That counts as row 1. All right. And keep knitting. Now the first row after you pick up stitches, sometimes it's a little bit tight, so give yourself a break. It's, you know, the first row is a little rough. Just like for me, the first row after I cast on is always a little rough. So now we look ahead and we see we have a decrease coming. So we knit till we have 2 stitches before that decrease. So there are the 2 stitches. We're going to knit those 2 together. And again, because it's the first row, it's a little tricky. But after the first row, you just zoom, zoom, zoom. You hear all the sighs I'm making. I'm a little frustrated with this right now, I ain't gonna lie. All right, so we change our marker to remind us to knit the next round and not decrease. So we knit that last stitch, and then my needles are all kind of twisted. I need to untwist them. So we turn, we knit across. I'm going to show you the knit row, even though it's like, duh, knit. But I want to, so there. So just knit across till we get to our marker. We're at the end of that front row. I'm going to do the back here, and then I'll tell you what to do next. So we're going to knit this first stitch, and this tells us, okay, we're just going to knit. We're not going to decrease on this round, but we're going to decrease next round. So we pick up our little indicator here, and then we just continue knitting. We're getting close to the end, so just make sure that you change this to show decrease next round. Okay. Now I am going to go sit in my nice comfy chair, and I will come back when I have like 2 stitches left before the marker on each side, because it gets a little tricky, but I have faith in you. You guys can figure it out. Okay, so again, let's knit to the end of this and make sure we change our marker to decrease, and that is the end of the row. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I have reduced down to 1 stitch, so we have this first stitch, then we have our marker, and then we have 1 stitch, and then we have our marker telling us that we have, that's all the stitches that we need to decrease. So we need to decrease 2 more on each side. So since this is a decrease row, what we're going to do on this one is we're going to knit 1, put it to knit, do it like you would do it, a slip knit, take that marker and put it away because we don't need it anymore. And we're going to do a decrease there, then knit across to the other decrease. I hope this is in frame. I'm trying to do it where you can see it. Okay, now we have our marker here, but this stitch right here needs to be part of the decrease. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip that stitch over to our right needle, remove the marker, slip that stitch back, and then knit these two together. Okay, put this on knit. Knit that last stitch. Okay, I will be back when I knit this full knit round. One thing I want to show you, I'm about to do the knit round in the back. And one thing I do when I'm on this last knit round is I count between these markers to make sure I have 30 stitches. Because, you know, this is our last chance to fix that. So, 2, 27, 28, put the next one as a decrease, and I'll be back after I knit the round in front. Okay, our last decrease round. For now, we'll decrease again at the toe. All right, so we're going to knit this first stitch, remove the marker, do a slip, slip, knit, knit to the other side. All right, so we have 3 stitches left on the needle. We know that we have a decrease, so we're going to grab these 2 stitches in front of the marker. Trying to squint to see this. Okay, there we go. Grab that one. Decrease. Remove the marker. Well, the marker doesn't want to be removed right now. It is stuck in, there we go. Okay, and then knit this last stitch. That's your last decrease. Now at this point, you're just going to keep knitting around. Now here I need to count up 10 rows, and I keep track of my rows. For me, my perfect sock is between 60 and 65 rows. So whatever works for you, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and let me see if I have another 10 here. So I do keep track of my rows, and what I will do, I will come back when I'm at about 60 rows, and then we can see where we are and when we decide to do the toe. Okay? Alrighty. Bye-bye. Okay, it's time to get this sock finished. Now, what I do is that I go by color. So
When my sock gets long enough, and I'm gonna show you a picture of my foot. Right here. So you can see that the sock is very close to the base of my little toe. And that's where I use to figure out where to start my toe. And I go to the end of the color as close as I can get. As you can see here, I didn't have enough of that color to go to the end of the next row. So I stopped, and that's where we will be starting our toe. So with our toe, we're going to use our contrast color. And we just start knitting. And then we use these guys again. So this is going to tell us we're going to do one round regular, and then the next round we're going to decrease. Make sure my yellow is anchored. All right, so you just knit across here to the last stitch. Ooh, sorry. Now, some people only use the marker at the beginning of the round. I get distracted a lot. You know, something sparkly flies by. So I put a marker at the end of each needle. All right, so I'm going to put a marker that we're going to decrease next time we come this way. So we're going to repeat the same thing on the other needle. Oops, sorry. I will let you go and pick you up when we get to the end of the next needle. All right, we're back at the beginning, and this is a decrease row. So we are going to knit the first one, and the decreases on the toe are the same as on the heel, same order. So you will do a slip, slip, knit, and then at the end you will do a knit two together. So this is going to be, remind us to do knit next time and not decrease. Again, remember, we're going to remind ourselves to knit next time around. Okay, so when we go to the other side, we move our needle back down. I'm going to do the end of this one, and then we'll talk about what to do after that. So we knit one, I have to look at this in real time. Knit one. I hope you can see this.
change it to knit. Oh man. Okay. Slip, slip, knit. Knit across. Two stitches before our marker. So we're going to knit those two together. I can't even look straight at it and knit it. It's not good. Okay, there we go. Okay, so your next row is just a knit row. So what is wrong here? Okay. Whew. Okay, so what you're going to do is just knit around and change your markers to decrease, and then when you have decreased down to 20 stitches, I'll come back and show you what to do. All right, so we have 20 stitches left on each needle. So we're going to do, see this next row says to knit. So we are going to knit that row. And then at that point, we will decrease every row at the beginning and the end. Okay, so let's put this one as a knit. You can remove your markers now, because when you come around again, you know that you are going to decrease. And that marker's stuck on there. That's why I don't give those out as prizes, because they do get stuck on the yarn. So, all right. Now, if it helps you to keep these markers here to remind yourself to decrease, by all means do that. Okay, I'm going to turn this around, and this is going to be a decrease row. We're doing decrease rows from here on out until we get down to 8 stitches. So we're going to do this, then a decrease. When you get 3 stitches from the end, you're going to do your knit 2 together. Okay, and then you just do the same thing till you get down to 8 stitches. So I'll meet you back here when I get down to 8 stitches on each side. Okay, I have gotten both sides of my sock down to 8 stitches. I'm just going to pull this out a little bit to give me a little bit of room to wrestle with this. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to turn our sock inside out, but we're going to do it from the toe. I have found that this is just the best way to do it. So So your sock is inside out, and let me grab a needle. I will show you how to do the Finchley graph. It's really super simple. Man, I keep hitting this camera. I'm so sorry. All right, so let's grab the yarn from the end. Here it is. All right, so here's the yarn. Oh, I thought I cut it longer than that. Oh well. We will make do, won't we? So what you're gonna do is get both sides of your stitches at the end of the needles. So basically, kind of like the Kitchener, but this one's a little bit different. All right, so in the Finchley graft, when you're coming in from the front, you're going to go into your stitches knitwise. When you're coming from the back, you're going to go into your stitches purlwise. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is go into both of these stitches knitwise. Okay. And then after you do that, you just drop that first stitch off the needle. Go to the next one purlwise. Go through this one again purlwise. And drop the front stitch off. Okay? So go into this one knitwise, knitwise. And what I've just started doing is I just kind of slide the needle out. All right. Purlwise, purlwise. Same thing. You can just pull the needle out. Knitwise, knitwise. Oops. Okay, and once you come back through, you should have the same number of stitches on each needle. So if your stitch number goes off a little bit during that area, we need to figure out what happened. All right, so again, knitwise, knitwise, pull the needle out of the one stitch. Purl, purl, and off. And then when we come down, we have 2 stitches. We're just going to go knitwise through both of them and pull them both off. Okay? So at this point, we're going to be weaving in all our ends. Normally, I just go ahead and weave this one in, but I want to save us a little bit of time. Okay, so up here, remember when I started this and I go back and do my first row and it leaves like a little notch there? So what we're gonna do is, I have the wrong glasses on for doing this. Man, I'm so sorry, I keep bumping this. So when you go over here, you'll see like a little bit of a V. You have to look for it. So just go through that V and then go back through the first stitch. Okay, all of the ends have been woven in. All of the stitch markers have been removed. And there is our sock. So let's get a sock blocker and put it on it. And one thing is, now what I have said many times is I like to knit the second sock even more than the first. Some people get second sock syndrome. I do not, because I already have this all figured out. I know where I'm going to cut off for the heel. I know where I'm going to cut off for the toe. So this one is, so you can use that as a roadmap to make your second sock. And then you will have a pair of socks. Hopefully this has been helpful. Bye-bye.